The moment that this movie cut to credits, I just exhaled and sat there for a few minutes in silence because, wow.
Suddenly, she was free.
So The Nightingale is a new period thriller that is written and directed by Jennifer Kent, and in The Nightingale we follow a young Irish lady named Claire who was living in a country that is now known as Tasmania in 1825. And Claire works as a servant for a unit of the British Army and trying to basically get her freedom for her and her family. However, one night when Claire and her family are trying to escape, they are unfortunately caught by a couple of those British soldiers, and after a horrific act of violence against Claire and her family, Claire decides to hire a tracker to take down the British soldiers that did this horrific act against her family. Alrighty guys, so let's get into The Nightingale. I was looking forward to The Nightingale for one specific reason, and that was because of Jennifer Kent. Jennifer Kent wrote and directed The Babadook, which is one of my favorite horror films of the decade. So of course, as y'all can imagine, when I heard that Jennifer Kent was writing and directing The Nightingale, I got immediately excited. So I finally saw this movie, and man, what a movie this was. Starting off with the performances, I gotta say, everyone here brings their A game to this movie. Everyone here gives phenomenal performances, all of them Oscar worthy. Now, I'm not going to remember all their names, except I do remember the one who plays Hawkins, the British officer's one of them, who was played by Sam Claflin, but for the other two, give me just one moment, because I feel like that if I did not mention their names, it would be a total disservice to them. But one of them is Aisling Franciosa, who plays Claire, and the other is Babadook Ganambar, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, the one who plays Billy the Tracker. All three of these actors easily give performances that are definitely deserving of an Oscar nomination, but I feel like that they're going to be overlooked nonetheless. Starting with Aisling Franciosa, she gives a performance that just feels raw and it feels real, especially when confronts a person at the end of the first act. She gives this look of grief that turns later into rage. How she is able to go from that to that on a dime had me honestly in goosebumps. Not just that, but I feel like that she portrays a victim of horrific violence. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to mention these two words again. It felt real and it felt raw, but most importantly, it just felt like that she just wasn't acting whatsoever. And I also really liked the back and forth between her and Babadook Ganambar as Billy. At first, they absolutely hate each other, but after a while, they start to grow with one another because of what they have been through. And when bad things started happening to them, there was one certain point in which, oh my god. But then there's Sam Claflin, who is the main British officer in this movie. He portrays the biggest asshole I have seen in a movie since Michael Fassbender in 12 Years a Slave. Yeah. And he plays this part with excellence. Every time that he was on screen, when he did any type of thing wrong, this is what I wanted to do to him. Yeah! This is the type of person that makes you feel sick to your stomach when you're in the same room as him. You just want to take a bunch of showers to just get the feeling of disgust off of you. And every time he was on screen, my heart was racing. He scared the crap out of me. The main reason why I wanted to see this movie was because of Jennifer Kent directing, and man, she directs one tension-filled movie from the first frame, in which, by the way, beautiful opening shot, should I add. My heart started pounding until the very end scene. This is a movie that kept me on the edge, constantly scared, because Jennifer Kent puts you in this world, of course, that takes place in 1825. She puts you in this cold and brutal world into which there are so many violent actions, but it's not just there for the sake of violence, it's all there for a purpose. And that's another thing that I have to touch upon, that this movie is a brutal movie. And when I mean brutal, I mean brutal. Every violent and brutal action that's done in this movie is shown to serve the purpose of the time period that this movie is in. It's a movie that doesn't try to fake anything. It would rather put you in these really uncomfortable and raw situations, and Jennifer Kent does an amazing job at it. And I will not lie, there are a couple of uncomfortable scenes, including in the first act. I have not been this uncomfortable during a movie since the highway scene of Nocturnal Animals. Yeah, I remember that scene. Another thing that I absolutely loved about The Nightingale was the cinematography, the production design, and the costumes. This is a movie that just feels authentic in every sense of the word. The moment that this movie starts, I felt like I was in 1825 in this brutal and cold world that Jennifer Kent puts us in. When you get to those 4 scenes, you feel even more tension, you feel lost and almost claustrophobic to an extent. But once you see those beautiful landscapes at the top of a mountain, it feels peaceful. And one particular choice that I love that Jennifer Kent did was that there is no music or any sense of score. Now, there is a couple of parts where you hear someone playing a violin because they're in the movie, but otherwise, there's no score or anything, which I only felt added to what was going on in each scene. Though one of my biggest praises with The Nightingale is how this movie juxtaposes certain scenes that has the brutal coldness of the world that they lived in 1825 to some scenes that have kindness and love in them. Like, for example, there is a scene that happens and it's a very quiet scene, and how the scene is directed and acted is so beautifully done, and it's so powerful that it had me in tears by the end. And this scene is one of my favorite scenes of the year. And the other thing that I absolutely loved about this movie was the ending scene. The final scene of this movie was just beautiful in every sense of the word. And the last shots of this movie gave me a sense of catharsis that I was just not expecting from this movie whatsoever. Going into the issues that I had with The Nightingale, there's only one issue that I had, but it's so small that it's pretty minute. And that's that there are a couple of tiny parts of this movie that felt a tad too long, but that's it. Overall, I walked out of The Nightingale shaken and tearing up. This is a film that, even though is very brutal and uncomfortable at times, it is also beautifully done, and it's cathartic by the end. But all in all, I absolutely loved The Nightingale. It's one of my favorite movies of 2019, and I am absolutely going to give The Nightingale a 5 out of 5. If this movie is being played nearby you guys, please go check it out. Alright guys, so comment down and let me know below. Have you guys seen The Nightingale? What did y'all think? Let me know below. If y'all want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of The Nightingale. If so, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe to see more videos just like this one. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever a new video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 reviews, please click either right there or there. And of course, until my next review, I will see you all next time.